what is the key we're going to be paying attention to? Is it the lawsuits or is it something else?
Yeah, so I don't think it's the lawsuits. Clearly that's an overhang risk that's going on in the markets right now. But really, it's going to be the guidance in our view. It's all about the guidance for most of these hyperscalers right now. Our view is, or the street's view right now is kind of low double-digit growth here for Q1 and for Q2. Now, I think the bigger risk is going to be as we progress through the year, dependent on what happens with tariffs, the stickiness of it. Do some of the reciprocal tariffs come back? Is the 10% permanent in nature? I think there's a lot to sort out on the policy side of things. But if Meta can kind of go out there and provide a decent Q1 number, which I think they will, just given what we've seen out of Alphabet, and then we kind of look into Q2 and they can offer something that's fairly healthy in nature. This is a stock that should perform fairly well. I think more importantly is going to be what they have on the horizon in 2026 and 2027.
So let's break it down because you currently see downside to the consensus view.
We do.
Explain what that downside is, and then explain to me how tariffs impact Meta. Is it because of AI or something else?
Yeah, so I mean, we're actually right now we're forecasting growth decelerating throughout this year. So we think by the end of this year, by the second half of this year, growth rates probably decelerate towards the mid to high single digit percentage pace. I actually think Q2 numbers might be okay because of the weakening of the dollar. That could offset some of the challenges that we see on the digital ad side of things, at least near term. But as far as some of the challenges that Meta might face here over the next couple of months. You've got small and mid-sized businesses, which they're a little bit more exposed to, that might feel a little bit more of the pain on the tariff side of things. You've also got the fact that they are more exposed relative to Alphabet to some of these China e-commerce vendors. So that's maybe some of the tariff implications on that side as well. So we think maybe about 3 to 5 percentage points of a hit that you could potentially see from that perspective. But again, offsetting some of that is a number of other positive takeaways like the weakening of the dollar, also some of the monetization that they're seeing on the AI side of things as well.
So help us understand, and this is a basic question, what is the biggest driver of their revenue? Is it advertising? Is it something else? Help us understand why that outlook is as it is that you just shared with us based on that question I've just asked you.
Yep. So it's essentially a digital ad business, right? I mean, it's unlike a number of these other hyperscalers, which have a number of different business segments out there. Alphabet has, for instance, the cloud, and then separate ad-related businesses, whether it be search or YouTube. When you think about Meta, they've essentially got these four pillars or four core platforms that they're essentially generating all their revenue from. They also do have Reality Labs, which is burning a ton of cash, about $15 to $20 billion in costs a year, and they're not making much out of that at all. But it is largely digital ad driven right now.
Forgive me if I put you on the spot. What are the four
Yeah.
pillars of their revenue generation?
Well, it's their four major platforms. So it's WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, and Facebook.
And
And
then why should we not be concerned about the lawsuits if they have to break off from Instagram?
yeah, I mean, so we actually think that's a bit overblown and overreaching in nature. So we don't expect our base cases. You don't see that happening. Clearly, it is a risk out there. Is something that's hovering kind of on the shares right now. But we don't expect that to necessarily be the case. We don't think they have a monopoly on the social media side of things. There are a number of other players out there, whether it be TikTok or Snapchat or Pinterest. Clearly smaller players. But obviously, TikTok is a formidable player at this point in time. So there are other players, of course, YouTube as well. So we do think some of the uncertainties tied to the FTC stuff is a bit overblown.
And then is there a number you're looking for, in ad generated revenue? And I realize it's different platforms, but if we were to aggregate it all together, is there a $1 billion figure you can share with us that we should be looking as investors for them to hit?
Yeah, so I mean, it's essentially low teens growth is what we're looking for, so, from a percentage basis. So that's kind of at least when you see the numbers post, it would be that type of number.
And would it be, I mean, I'm not sure what it was last quarter. Was it 38 billion, 40 billion?
Yep, it's something along the lines of 40.5 billion or something is what we're looking at for Q1.
Is there any last comment you would have before they report as to what you specifically are going to zero in on?
Yeah, I mean, for us, what's really important is the story that they have to tell on the AI side of things. I think that's going to be really important. They need to reiterate some of the potential growth opportunities tied to AI. We've seen them really kind of. They're probably one of the biggest beneficiaries that we think, or have one of the most powerful growth drivers on the AI side of things over the next 2 to 3 years, which is really important why they tell this story. And also non-AI related. I think Threads is going to be a massive opportunity in 2026, 2027. They have over 350 million users. They're starting to test ads on Threads right now. So that it is going to start generating revenue in 2026 and 2027, according to our assumptions. And then again, Llama, Meta AI, you're going to start seeing revenue tied to that stuff, we think. Again, not 2025, but as we get into 26 and 2027. So we want to start hearing them talk increasingly about some of those AI opportunities. Of course, AI agents, all that stuff is going to be important. They've got their first ever LlamaCon going on this week as well. So you're going to start hearing news flow, I think, increasing news flow as far as AI is concerned this week.
Yes or no question for you.
Yeah.
Optimistic about Meta?
Optimistic, absolutely. Well, as far as this quarter is concerned, we're on the fence with it. We think it's fine. As you kind of look again, you gotta look past the next 3 to 6 months. If you do, we're incredibly bullish on the long-term story on the name.